Need to deviate. Need to deviate. What did you hit? Don't know. There's some paint on there that doesn't identify as any paint that we sell as humans. Yeah, it's a mystery of what he ran into and what he said beforehand. But hey, what we don't know, we'll make up propaganda and just let it go. Now, I want to talk about that's a bit of air crash investigation there, and another way of a story when it comes to mysterious things besides what humans do and their faults and how they learn by death, right? Before they wake up on certain things, is they got to be in it. I want to talk about a theory about mental, right? And how that can line up in all sorts of ways. Mental, why do people have mental problems? Right? And it's got to do with all the different knowledge and everything in their head not making sense of what they've learnt or been through, right? Which can cause mental problems. Now, everything out there in the universe, because it's all connected, the universe, so always think bigger, the universe. And we go on science now, we have TVs and all this cool shit you love. And that's all based on actual fact and study and not going, yeah, right, like all the people did beforehand, as the stories talk about. Because if you go, yeah, right, you're just a dude that's just not educated and not ready yet. And that's fine. You're not the dude that made the TV and got money, right? Or the dude that stole it, because that's how humans roll, isn't it? They get somewhere, right? Either one, right? Like happened to Nikola Tesla. And so I want to talk about big scales, everything small, big, medium. It's all linked in different ways, but similar. And they have all the rules change a little bit as it goes. The smaller it is, why can an ant fall off you? That's a long distance for us, so it's like us falling. And then the ant not die, right? Because it has different rules, right? And how the universe works out there and the energies, everything's all about energy mostly. It's Jedi shit, in a way, has it more closer than a lot of religion stories of God building the world in 7 days and shit. He did that in there. Well, that could be true, but we're a long way from ever getting that fact and how we think to even get to that fact because we interpret things wrongly. Right? So first we got to connect, get along, get good at shit, eat the good apple, and function good. Otherwise, we can learn the bad knowledge, which can happen. Sometimes we buy the bad apples. You get bad apples in bunches all the time. But you want to put it away. You don't want to go, oh, actually, that bad apple's all right. I can get more bad apples. And they learn quicker. It's easy to get bad apples than the good apples. You know what I mean? All ways of looking at things. But back to mental problems. Now, as we've heard, and I've studied tarot and how they talk about people creating assholes abilities, which creates them to have a story. If you can create a story, it can definitely be, because first you need to speak about it to create it, right? And it's up to you to create it. But if you only got certain things to speak about and you get bored, well, perhaps you might start to create other things that benefits you and all sorts of things. That's how we have bad guys and all sorts of things like that, right? All got to do with the mind and what's downloaded in there. So when you have the world, so imagine the world, the next scale. So you got that scale within this scale, right? And then it's like in the Men in Black, and then he opens the cupboard and like we're nothing, we're small. This theory is a little bit like that, right? So and everything's connected, right? And it goes bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And so now you got the human brains or the human things that all function, right? And then they function. If you look at the brain, it's all these cells, they connect and spark and they function, and it uses memory, and it depends on how well and healthy the brain is fed. All these scientists have so far got, right? Try to get you to understand if you've gotten that far so far. And fires up and works. And if some don't work, the brain still works, but not as good as it can be, and things like that. You get Alzheimer's, so on. But hopefully you get what I'm talking about. That if the brain's not right, the information's not right, you get a problem, right? And so when you come to the world, and we're the little creatures and everything in it, and the world's one big brain, and it's a function. And its body is part of the universe. It's swinging around. It's doing its thing, and it's another different scale again, and it has different rules, slightly different, like the ant with us, right? And it has us and us on it, and how that flows around in space and how healthy it is and how it runs is up to us in it. And we're the brain in some sort of way. Definitely the smart ones can function with it, so they're more like the brain, right? The smart ones need to have a heart and other things, and that's eating the animals and getting materials and so on. I can get more in detail later that. I'm just trying to run it down slowly. So imagine us being the brain, right? And if we're not functioning properly, that's why the world's sick, right? It's like mental illness. It's got the right information, but don't want to use the right information. Wants to see it their way and over here, and that's how the brain can work too, right? And then you go from that to the universe. And then the universe has a lot of planets. And some of them are all connected, and some of them can be connected, like the brain cells and stuff like that. But they're also not functioning because of the disagreements. But imagine if they all connected, and in the end, if they all got to one and connect to one, they'll become one source. Right? In the end, if you go with that trail, you'll find that something's collecting information. Right? And so if you want to get up further, first, you've got to get right, because any bad program stays there or gets deleted and rechanged in some sort of way, doesn't it? Right? So I thought I'd just chuck that out there. And you let me know in comments if you think I'm wrong with that theory, and let me know how I'm wrong, and I'm happy to debate. Now, I just got told from someone that I debate too much. But you can get to a point, oh, I think everything's a debate. But why do I think everything's a debate? Well, I've hit a point where the brain function is not working in the head. I'm trying to work out. So my brain at the moment is the planet, right? And a lot of them are going, well, a lot of the countries in there, a lot of cells, right? They're going, well, we're coming to this conclusion, but we're seeing this conclusion in reality. These things are around, these things are happening. If we want to feel safe from the asteroids out there, we need to remove the asteroids. Otherwise, the asteroids are there. So our brains are functioning on what threat is it and how can we deal with it. And if it's not that much of a threat, that's okay, right? And so when you have all these threats around there, you would have a lot of debates about how you're going to handle them. So the more threats, more problems, the more you've got to keep debating until it's solved. And if you're still debating, that's because it's not solved, and it takes a long time to heal the brain, doesn't it? It takes a long time to hear people who go, you got to go sit down there, you got to ooze bar, you got to think about things, you got to debate in your head, you got to work out the logic that you just went through. Because if you move too quickly, definitely if it's new things and things you don't go through very often, a lot of times you're gonna make it worse for yourself. It's like trying to get into the recipe without the full recipe, because you know you need the meal done in 3 hours, but the recipe will be here in an hour, but you believe that you're not going to have enough time, so you start. And then when the recipe gets here, you find out you've done things you shouldn't have done. And now you got to go right back to the start anyway, and you wasted materials. And you might have to go to the shop to get something. Right? You make things worse by rushing in when it comes to new things. Always be slow, like scientists say. Take it easy, because you don't know what you can create, like I've talked about when it comes to AIs. And that's why I debate. And if people don't like me debate, well, see you later. That's what I've been saying to people. And if you think it's like that, well, why is it like that? And why can't we do these things? And when these things are fixed, there'll be no more debate. And if I stop talking about it, well, I don't want to hear about it or want to be involved with it. Otherwise, I'll debate. Isn't that true, people? But anyway, have a good one out there, and see you later.